They understand specifically that Donald Trump's economic policy is an absolute disaster. They understand that their seats are at risk of being lost if they did nothing about it. Republicans have been absolutely very open with the fact that they are gerrymandering several Republican states. They want to put in place a Republican stronghold. We'll get into what my theory is that Republicans are probably trying to do for the long game. But as of right now, Republicans want to hold on to power. They understand that Donald Trump's policies are so unpopular that they are at risk of losing their seats. So what we see here, this is going to be a timeline of everything that's happened over the past week. We've seen that this is from a Fight with Memes. You can see this as posting going around showing different states that are being gerrymandered. It's only bad when Republicans do it. But as you can see, Michael Irfan said there are 12 Republican states with 0 Democrat states. By your own metric, Republicans are worse. What he did was pull up how many Democrats voted in the 2020 election, I believe is what this was. And you could see that several Republican states have 0 Democratic seats. So then we go over here. Senator Roger Marshall stated Texas population has grown, I think, some 7 million people, 7%, I believe, since the census is out. So they have a reason to do redistricting. I do think the people moving there are more on the Republican side, but this is all about politics to Gavin Newsom. So what he's talking about is Gavin Newsom has said, if you redistrict your state, we will redistrict ours. And what you see him here is saying is, I do think people moving there are more on the Republican side, but this is all about politics to Gavin Newsom. This is all about politics to Republicans. That's absolutely what's going on here. And then we see that after Democrats left the state to make sure that the Republicans could not hold quorum, some of the Democrats decided to come back. However, when they came back, they were forced to sign a permission slip and be followed by Texas state troopers. However, one Congress member or Texas legislature member decided that she wasn't going to do that. She said, I'm going to stand up for what is right. And she camped out in the chamber. You can see here, Texas Republicans have locked Democratic Representative Nicole Collier inside the State House chamber and refused to allow her to leave. They're requiring Democrats to sign permission slips and have a police escort in order to leave the chamber, and she refuses to sign it. And you can see here in this video, and I don't know how strict C-SPAN is, so I won't play the video, but Representative Collier makes a call to C-SPAN. In the middle of her call, Texas state troopers get onto her, and then she says, I have to leave. They said it's a felony for me to do this. Apparently, I can't be on the floor or in the bathroom. It's insane to me to watch this. However, all of these efforts were futile, unfortunately, because the Democrats came back, were able to pass the new maps. And Gavin Newsom, rightfully so, said it's on, meaning that he is going to go forward with, and they have already started the process to redistrict California. And you can see here that Donald Trump was threatening an unconstitutional takeover of state elections by executive order. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them. Trump says, calling for an end to vote by mail. Even though Donald Trump votes absentee, now you're used to, he's now a convicted felon. He is now saying that they must end mail-in ballots. But here's what's particularly worrisome about this. This is something that states generally have the power to do. This is overriding the states. The states are the ones who decide their election laws in regards to this and the method by which they vote. So this is particularly egregious, but it's one of many egregious things that Donald Trump has done. And you'll see where Lauren Boebert said, end it, regarding the mail-in voting system. And you can see her casting her official ballot via mail-in voting. And you can see here, Representative Warren Davidson said, you can't have an honest election if you don't have an honest census. They counted illegals. California's got lots of illegals. People estimate they've got 6 or 7 extra representatives in the U.S. House because they're counting on citizens in their population. They did it to get power. Let's be very clear. The census is based on non-citizens because guess what? They are still a part of the population of the United States of America. Non-citizens can be, undocumented migrants. And let's be very clear here too, in terms of voting, undocumented migrants are able to vote in the United States for certain state and local elections. It's based upon the state. So if we're to take this estimation, now here's the other thing too, is they're saying that U.S. citizens can vote, but undocumented immigrants can't vote. I would pose to anybody, think about the felons who can't vote. So should we not count felons in the census because felons can't vote? If we're only to go off of the voting population, what about children? Should we count children in the U.S. population? But I want Democrats to understand one very, very important thing here, okay? I don't know how accurate this is, but this is according to the New York Times, and I do believe this to some extent is true. You can see the change in share of registered voters from 2020 to 2024. Democrat registration is down. So what I'm encouraging all of my viewers who are watching this, either through the live stream or through the video, make sure you get out and register to vote. Do not get complacent and think that this is going to be a landslide victory in the midterms. Complacency will lead to Republicans voting. I understand times are extremely dark right now because Republicans are doing everything to silence your voice. But don't let them win. Get out there, register to vote, and encourage your neighbors, your friends, your family, whoever, to get out and register to vote. And you can see Trump admitting to, in essence, essentially a quid pro quo by saying Dustin Burrows is a true warrior for Republicans and is doing a fantastic job as Speaker of the Texas House of Representatives. Thanks to Dustin's strong and effective leadership of the Texas House, the incredible people of Texas will have the opportunity to elect 5 more Republicans to Congress. Again, very, very open about what he's doing. He's trying to gerrymander these particular states. He said a big win for Republicans in Texas across the country. As Speaker, Dustin is fighting tirelessly to grow our economy, lower taxes, cut regulations, promote Made in the USA, so on and so forth. He then goes on to say, Dustin Burrows is my complete and total endorsement for re-election. See, this is how MAGA plays. You do what Donald Trump says, you get his endorsement. And you can see here Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out saying there was a Rasmussen report came out saying majority backed Trump's call for a new census, agree only citizens should be counted. And Marjorie Taylor Greene saying this is why she's put forth Making America Elections a Great Again Act. And she said it calls for a new census immediately counting American citizens, call for reapportionment based on the citizen only count, and requires proof of citizenship to vote in all federal elections. Proof of citizenship to vote in all federal elections. We've already been over voter ID in this regard. What is citizenship? Because citizenship could be that you're in this state for 30 days. Would that mean that you can bring a bill to vote? I'm sure they would not like that. So again, she's obviously going after voter ID here. She's saying that they should put forth voter ID in order to get votes counted. So what we're seeing right now, guys, is we're seeing an absolute takeover by the Republicans. My theory here is that Republicans are trying to play the long game. We've already seen where Donald Trump has tried to repeal the 14th Amendment. There's talks of Donald Trump trying to change certain things, like, for example, burning the American flag and making it a crime. We've seen where he's trying to overturn various amendments, and the long game on this could be, and I say that I understand that this may not happen very likely and very easily, and it may not happen within the next 2 years, but we are inching more and more towards the step to where Republicans are able to make those amendments. Mind you, an amendment to the Constitution requires 2/3 of the majority of the House and the Senate. It also requires 3/4 of the state legislatures to put forth this amendment and get it through. Now, that's the crazy hypothetical theory that I've got going. The more pragmatic theory that's going on is that Republicans do not want to lose power. They understand specifically that Donald Trump's economic policy is an absolute disaster. They understand that their seats are at risk of being lost if they did nothing about it. And now what we have entered into is we have now entered into a gerrymandering race. That's what's going on. They're now trying to race as much as they can. We're seeing Florida saying that they want to do gerrymandering. We see California saying they want to gerrymander. I want to be very clear here. I am typically not for gerrymandering. But when Republicans do this, Democrats have to use everything in their power to counteract this. And I'm going to be very clear, everything in their power legally, up to the border of legally, even if it's questionable legally. There's obviously non-legal things, and I would say that that is not okay. But Democrats need to start playing. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, notification bell to get notified of all future videos. And I hope you watch the next video. Thank you so much.